against the French. Caps in headshots. Let's see. Time will tell. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen enough of Misfits. I always believe in Sean Grills, but G2, you never know when it... I think they're getting to the point where you never know when it's just going to go nuts, kind of versus pro style.
This is the perfect map, though, because if Sean Gers, and you would imagine that he would have a plan for this game, he's on the T side. You can't really interrupt the T side plans very much on the CT side of Cobblestone. So it might be perfect if he has constructed an elaborate game plan with full of counter strats, which he's known to do. And G2 is a team that he's very familiar with. So that's one of the reasons why I'm very, very enticed by this game.
Yeah, it's curious because we last saw them versus Flipside. G2 ain't no Flipside. But G2 have their own issues. We've heard a discussion about shox has been re-enabled. They've put him in a position to succeed. They've allowed him to maybe enough about that anyway. Misfits are charging into the B bomb site. We'll talk about that later on. Kenny just quietly popping shots. They have no idea where he is, and that leaves Sean alone. The leader has to lead by example now, but we're asking too much of him on this occasion. 1 versus 4, and the French are hype.
Yep, very good start. Get that pistol, get that money. And that is definitely going to be annoying for Misfits. It will take them a little bit longer to get their game plan going and together. And once they do, there'll be probably some money in the bank for G2 to get some rebuys in there, should things go, you know, in a poor manner for them. However, also something to consider is the fact that there was no bomb plant, which again is really depressing for the Misfits side. But they have CZs. They're going for a force by the full force, as you would expect. Now G2 should anticipate this. They go for the B rush, which it looks as though they are trying to do. This is very, very easy to predict. Let's see if G2 can handle it.
If I remember correctly, we watched an Envy versus Pro match on Cobblestone where Envy smashed the T side with executes that weren't expected. G2 doing fine for the time being, though. No answer to these kills. Finally, there is one. Kenya's sitting in that one, but it's over. So there was a match we watched where Envy played versus Pro, and Envy's executes on the T side were so strong that versus Pro couldn't adjust to them in time. And I think that kind of scenario is the best bet for Misfits in this particular matchup. They're heading towards a bye, so we'll see if that's going to be their play. But there's one more round to come first. So G2 will look to farm some more.
Indeed, 2-0. Off to a good start, and they, as you say, they can farm this round too. They have only a P250 or 3 to worry about, 4 in fact. 5 in fact, sorry, to worry about. So should be completely fine here. P250 is a respectable pistol, and you have to be cautious as it can do a lot of damage, but shox will be happy to relieve devoduvek and Sick.
It's a P1250 round, Dan. Think about it.
Right, I see. I see what you did. Yeah, I see what you did there.
Quick maths.
Quick maths. Oh, shox losing his helmet. Apex in there for the action as well. So just a very slow but inevitable end, I think, to this round. AmaNEk will be able to deliver a frag onto Apex, which is nice, but
shox and NBK alone now, then.
Yeah, that's a good point, but
shox is playing the most awkward angle possible, though, which I think is a very good adjustment considering the situation. Some people may just leave the area entirely, but if he goes down on his sword. So I like the angle he took, and it worked out for them. They manage the situation, and they don't lose any more players, which is important for them. They have $6,000 to $9,000 when they begin this round. Time for the upgrades. Kenny on the AWP. Man like Kenny S. Wanted to see him playing next to shox for the longest time. See what they can do on the first buy round. But in fairness, I think it's all eyes on Misfits. However, they don't have enough money to get proper grenades. Yes, they've got 4 flashbangs, but 4 smoke grenades, but they've got 2 flashbangs. So that's going to make it very difficult to execute onto a site. They seem to be heading towards A in the numbers. It's just a rush towards A. There was a lot of rushing on their match versus Flipside, so is it just going to be a case of shock and awe?
Yeah, just going for that fast contact placing, if they can get some very fast positioning and beat the rotation, but they've been slowed down by G2's counter grenades, by the fragging power of Kenny so far. And Here comes a rotation, but it is being deflected. devoduvek with the kill there. The site now opened up. That's Kenny S essentially naked, unable to be covered by any teammates. Bodyy into the action, into the fray, unable to get the second frag. The last one it would have been, but it is a very low Sick that remains, who is going to actually collect the AWP. That's actually a great shout here in this 1v1. Considering the fact that his health is so low, this could work out very well. Indeed, shox has a lot of time, and he's got grenades to play with. So he's definitely on for this one. Sick. He's got so much to worry about in this position. And shox is holding. Only just now thinking about moving in, perhaps. Oh no, that's that's the GG incendiary right there. Not much you can do about that. shox, patient, collects the orb, and he'll finish the job.
Nice. The scope was there. I wondered if there would be time for the flick from Sick, but no. So that is the round for G2. So the rush ended up being strong, but it was not successful. On the plus side, I mean, fair enough, right? Like, yes, we looked towards their previous match versus Flipside, where there were a lot of rushes towards B, etc. But they were very ill-equipped, as I mentioned. So I think you might say that Sean took the decision to make the best of what they had and just kind of use the numbers game as the advantage. Now with the bomb plant, they've got another buy and they've got more utility here. So we may see a different approach from Misfits.
And one thing as well that you mentioned in yesterday is that some teams, they'll go very fast as well, try to condition their opponents. And another fast round it is for Misfits as they start to dive through the broken wall, but sending them back is shox. And now this is looking horrible for Misfits. These fast rounds are just not panning out at all. As you said, the round loss bonus is building up, but they don't get a bomb plant here. So that's going to be a half buy at best for them next round. And so far, they are coming up flat against the G2 defense.
Yeah, this is getting interesting now. We've seen a rush A, didn't work. We've seen a rush B, didn't work. So now we have maximum loss bonus, and they will truly have everything they want in the next rounds. Look at that hair, man. I wouldn't even know where to start if I wanted to have hair like that.
It's not that's unsurprising, James.
Why is it unsurprising? What do you say?
Because you just shave your head all the time. So it's definitely going to be a very foreign concept for you.
Okay,
I reckon you could do it, though.
5-0 for G2, and we have a tactical timeout from Misfits. I don't know really how much they can read into the rounds that have happened so far because they've come so fast. I mean, maybe they're just trying to discuss what they're seeing out of the CT side in terms of positioning. I don't know how much they can read into the early default of G2 in these rounds. So, I mean, we'll see. This is a fairly strong buy as well. Again, they can spend more money than usual on this eco because they're at that maximum loss bonus.
I think it's really about just, as you said before, just like Misfits situation, they're sort of playing off of what they have and trying to make the best calls. G2 are just playing that basic defense. One thing though, it's that it can try to, you can try to condition the CTs into expending a lot of early utility through fear of the fast pace that you've set. But at the same time, the defenses have been so remarkable from G2 that that's not really going to be much of an issue. And so Misfits are going to have to find their way into bigger buys, and they're going to play slower rounds. They're going to have to play those defaults out and really abuse the T side that way. Because right now, G2 have collected a lot of CT rounds already.
G2, by the way, chose to start on the CT side. Oh, that smoke grenade is poverty. There's a reasonable gap, and NBK, if he chooses to peek, he will see people if they go wide. We reached the minute mark for Misfits, and they are using up some of the G2 utility as they start to move into the connector area, but they're heading towards the A site. Kenny misses both, could have been two. He's taking some damage now, playing very close range indeed, trying to quickly decide what the best position is. They jump over the rat hole, but Sick goes back, and he's been exterminated. The rotation needs to come in for the CT side. There could be big damage here for Misfits.
Yeah, Sean Gez picking up the orb. That is such a big win with the bomb plant in 3v3 as well. It's only ShahZaM who is lacking in the gun department, stuck onto the Deagle, but with Sean Gez on the orb, and again, being a sniper is something he is no stranger to. They're in a great position here. Ooh, actually moving out of position. Could be caught on the timing, but Sean very quick to counter strafe, calmly, quick scope away, shox, and that will be the round for Misfits. So finally getting one on the board, and I think one of the things you have to say for teams that are run by Sean Gares as well is that they will have complete faith in the calls that he makes, despite any results. And I think that's a big strength.
I have to quickly note, the same if you were tuned into the previous match, Misfits have won the round on an eco round. It's a strong one, as we mentioned, but they survive with 3 players. Sean saves the AWP, and they've got 2 rifles in tow. That gives them a lot of extra money. They only need to buy 2 guns in this round, so that gives them an extra buy if things go wrong, essentially. So that's something to look out for as this game progresses. Double AWPs now for G2. shox with the second one. Never shy to pick up a sniper rifle. He is a very capable man.
So as you say, it's really on Misfits to start converting some more. Don't want to see a repeat of what happened to FaZe happen to them. And we get some light pressure here from Misfits, showing presence, throwing nades, trying to bait out utility from the G2 side. shox has taken fairly significant damage at this point as well. He's the only man towards a G2 cheat, an additional player. Trusting in shox, and trusting in shox is often going to be a good decision. Oh my goodness, I thought perhaps maybe Sean would have failed himself, but no.
Yeah, we saw, I want to say, okay, we saw somebody fail that jump earlier and they went around the long way, and Sean would have been dead if he had done that. He was shooting through the door, expecting somebody to be lurking in the underpass area, which is why shox is on 42 HP. Grenade deployed around the drop. Smoke on plateau, so no CT is looking down to see if anybody's there just yet. Got to be careful. There is a boost that T's can do on the boxes to look over said smokes as well. So taking an angle there later on does have its own risks for G2.
Sean starting to rejoin his team now, picking up the bomb that was left behind as they'll eventually go for this split through drop and plateau. Now they've exhausted most of the utility from G2, only a few flashbangs left. They have only 30 seconds, but again, they have utility to work with and they have the numbers still. So this could work out very well. However, G2 do have 4 players to respond to this. It's all going to come down to the shots. bodyy wrapping around the side, taking down 5 kills immediately here. Kenny is last man on the site, but quick comes shox through the smoke. AmaNEk, 1 more to find, 9 seconds to do it. Oh, the missed shot. Out comes the USP. shox knows he's done it. There's no time, or is there? He does have time, just barely enough, but shox comes through the smoke and he finds the shot with the AWP. That was down to the wire for both sides, but it will be the round and the important reset round for G2.
That was a slippery one. I have to note that Kenny has missed a number of shots so far in this game. The telling one, an early run through connector. He did land that one, clipped a wall, left a player alive. Speaking of clipping, shox will do the same through the boulder, no less. That boulder is very hard to get a penetration kill through that boulder. That just absorbs bullets for fun. 6-1. Misfits have been reset, but again, we spoke about the implication, winning the eco round, 3 players alive, so they have almost a full buy anyway. ShahZaM on the AWP once again. GoTV picks that very quickly.
I think Kenny, yes, is a good one, to be honest.
Keep your eyes on Kenny and T-side AWP. Curious to see how effective that can be. So Kenny's gone from B to A for this particular round. A dynamic setup here for the G2 side, trying to stop Misfits from being able to counter-strat them by changing their setup. shox now towards the broken wall.
If you want to look at what is one of the hardest CT positions in the business, you can watch NBK playing drop. Never fun to do that.
But always fun to watch NBK.
NBK is a very good player to watch, generally speaking. You can learn a lot from him.
Actually, he's my GoTV pick once his team make it to the T side, but more about that later. Misfits are slowly, quietly creeping towards A around the minute mark. ShahZaM just holding the angle towards the plateau. And with no AWP there, it's unlikely to see a CTP coming anytime soon. But as that clock starts to run down, maybe that will change. Smoke on the plateau, some flashes. In the meantime, still 4 Misfits players. Kenny and Apex are deep in towards A. And ShahZaM rotates away just as shox starts to look. Can he get the info, though, fast enough? Kenny spotting some players from the top. Sometimes sees Scoodiddle here as well, but Kenny's standing around for quite long, delivering the first kill, and maybe he can be the bait now. Apex, though, he gets taken down towards long A, so maybe it won't work out. Kenny has to deliver here. NBK coming in, traded immediately. Bodyy stopping the player from connector. Bombs on the floor. 16 seconds. Finally, Kenny goes down, but the bomb has to be collected.
2v2, Bodyy providing that stress, that pressure from the double doors, and keeping the attention is very important because shox is coming from the back here, and there he is. He didn't expect that, and shox gets both, and that's the round for G2, crushing Misfits' effort, and it was a good effort, able to attack the site with good success, but they could not close it down in the 2 versus 2. Misfits are in trouble right now.
Wow. Kenny has landed. He's back. It's a lovely flick from him. And there was almost nowhere for that bomb to get planted safely. 7-1. Early start for G2, thanks to all the failed rushes from Misfits. Their lost bonus in no man's land for the time being, so they will be on pistols. Sean, though, has an idea in mind. He's got his smokes, he's got his 2 flashes. Can he keep his Flashbang MVP award, which isn't a thing?
Should be, though.
At high statistics yesterday, will they continue today?
Yeah, it's a desperate spot, isn't it? Only devoduvek with Kevlar. Everybody else is naked, which is not advisable. But sometimes you got to do it, so you can have those grenades and AKs in the following round. They will make their way towards A long, and I mean the spread from G2 is very educated. You know, they understand they're against pistols. What do you want to do? Maximize your range, maximize the ability for you to use team play and crossfires with that, and use your utility and so on to make sure that you don't go into any kind of weird spots where the pistols could actually be kind of good, like the drop zone, which has been evacuated, but they can control the choke points instead. Here comes Misfits, looking to get a bomb down perhaps.
Apex on the site, holding a position where he can quickly move to the APC around it. shox delivering 2 kills with AWP, can't quite get a 3rd, but the bomb won't get planted. No bonus money for Misfits, no significant anyway. Obviously there's a kill bonus, but the plant bonus is what they're looking for, and the plant bonus is not what they get. What they get is a ginormous deficit.
And it starts to become a problem here because we saw it previously today, Cobblestone, the big difficulty on this map for the very seasoned teams is getting the CT rounds, actually. Having a good CT start, getting, you know, more than, well, between that 6 to 10 rounds, you actually feel very comfortable. And beyond 8 rounds, it starts to be like a very good CT half. And I would be very surprised if G2 don't have enough to play out that T side of theirs and do the damage. But it is a game of Counter-Strike, you never know. The double AWP, though, is quite fun to see so far from shox and Kenny. Misfits now have to answer that double AWP setup. Now that they have guns again, and it's ShahZaM on the AWP there looking towards Broken Wall, but the smoke will deny him once more, and he will fall back again.
So with the double snipers, we previously saw shox towards A and Kenny towards B. Now we see shox around a statue and Kenny through danger with Apex for support on the high ground. G2 everywhere, constantly changing. 1 minute mark and Misfits continue to harass, make a lot of noise, generally be antisocial around the B bomb site, but they're all here. G2 not flanking, no one looking for it from Misfits. It's time to execute the grenades, sail in. Will it be a wall of smokes? It looks like it might be, and all the CTs will be behind it, but Bodyy and shox will be close. NBK and Kenny rotating in now. Bomb is very likely to go down. What angles will be held? shox looking everywhere, looking for someone, something. That is a glorious shot onto ShahZaM. Great start. AmaNEk may be seen through the corner. Body's got a great angle. The AWPs are delivering. It's a shooting range. And G2 are hitting all the clays. AmaNEk and devoduvek left. And now it's just Dev 1 versus 5. They have had limited success in this round. The bomb plant will be the only thing to shout about. They will be silenced otherwise.
Oh man, that was like artillery with the AWPs, like raining in from the back. There's like all this smokes, and just like they're shooting like these massive, just explosives over the smokes and just taking everybody out in the back. Also throwing explosives, as we can see. And Kenny knows his angles. Kenny knows his angles. And that is a very, very cool retake from G2 to witness. And they are in a decisively strong position. Misfits might be starting to run out of ideas, perhaps. I'm not sure if that is necessarily ever the case for Sean Gers, but right now his team might be beginning to lose confidence on this T side. Who's the hype man, James? You need the hype man in there.
On Misfits?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't speak for devoduvek or AmaNEk, but I don't think there's a hype man on Misfits.
ShahZaM and Sick are definitely not hype man, but that's fine. You don't need a hype man if your players are composed and they believe in the leadership, they believe in the process, the system, by their fearless leader.
Yeah, you can win quietly. That's the thing. But there's not much winning going on right now for Misfits. CZ, once again, ShahZaM, the lone Desert Eagle playing player in this round for the T's. And there is a trade. There is a fast advancement. And it seems it might be A, but shox is trying to shut everything down, keeping his players busy around a connector position. They get another frag, though. They've picked up a rifle. ShahZaM taken out towards A, and they're using that as bait and moving towards B, which is indeed also open. 2-on-2. Six got the AWP.
This is very realistic here, this 2v2. One of the best chances they've had so far. Sick is one of the brand new talents in North America. Looking to make his name, but it will be not in this round that he'll make it. It's instead going to be one more on the board for G2. Another day at the office for them as they make this look effortless. And it's Misfits that are going through quite the struggle. And it's really, I mean, it's very sad in the sense that they've come close in a few rounds, but they're just not able to win some of these clutch situations. Unfortunately for Sick, he gets the leg shot onto Kenny there. You can see it, his health going down to 17, so he actually hit the shot first. Now Sick gets that kill, aims slightly higher. Then that round probably looks just very, very, very different. The chances of G2 do fall rapidly, but that was not the case. And that's CSGO for you. It's a game of inches. Very marginal situations.
10-1, and you know the score, as UK hooligans would say. A more traditional start to this round from Misfits. Sick and Dev around the B bomb site, and then 3 players lurking around A. Question of map control for Misfits. They start to establish it towards the A site. The odd flash here or there. They've attracted the attention of Apex and Kenny, who are playing close now, and body's rotating towards the balcony as well. So this may be a good read from G2. In fact, body's gone deep with them. So maybe Misfits have telegraphed their intentions.
Very quiet areas. Patience is the virtue at play. Does Kenny go for a peek, though? He is surely going to get flashbanged here if he is going to stay in this position. There, the flashbangs not pushed off the angle. The flashes go too deep. Kenny gets himself a free one. Body chimes in as well, and all of a sudden, if there was a push, you blink and it's just disintegrated. Only devoduvek with a kill, and desperation trade from ShahZaM will fail. And it's another round made to look effortless by G2. Those flashes, James, they were too deep, and that was it.
Great start from Body. Always nice to see the bomb as well when you're on a CT side. All the well, much of the information you need to know, not all of it. 11-1. Not much else to say. Misfits are on the buy once again. They've got grenades, they've got 5 AKs. Can they find success? G2 looking strong at present. So it seems to be back to the rushes, and they are simply clays in the eyes of Kenny. Got the long-range shotgun, shooting them out of the sky. 3 more to find. He is hunting. Trajectory tells a story. Could he get an ace in this situation? No. Taken down by ShahZaM, but is it all for nothing? Maybe. 1 versus 4 now for ShahZaM. Doing the best he can, but his success will be brief, and it will be muted by NBK.
And it's funny because one of the problems with that very fast play is we could actually see that G2, like, look, Kenny at the start of the round is just playing on the APC. So it sort of tells you that maybe G2 have done a lot of research here, or maybe they just have, due to the past rounds, have a very good read on how Misfits want to play this, because those rushes look a lot better if the AWP's, playing around a long, deep, or just is in any kind of deep position, which can commonly happen on the defense there. But G2 seem to have these good setups, and As we saw, kennyS is hitting his shots now, so that's a problem. If kennyS knows you're coming and he's hitting shots, that's basically the round over normally. Oh, the P90's come out, James. What does that tell you?
I mean, they haven't had so many engagements in this area, so he's likely to end up facing the players at a longer range. And I think the P90 is 2350, if I'm not mistaken, and the Galil's 2000. So make of that what you will. But it's about comfort as well, and hey-ho, he gets a kill out of it. But what more can they do with this? Kenny now is alone, trying to deliver some kills. There's plays around the APC, but too many angles for him to cover. shox is on a long flank, and shox is now alone. So maybe, just maybe, Misfits will double their score.
It's looking very likely, but shox, as you said previously, has been enabled again. Let's see what he's able to do in this round. A 1v3 is going to be very tough. That's a good start, though. Doesn't take any damage, really, from that. Now on 1v2, and he's got nades here to eliminate some of the positions to play the deduction game as to where these teams are standing. Now close to the site, eliminated almost all the positions. They have to be on the site. They're playing the trade game. Oh, no! They peek together into the spray, and an unlikely round for shox. As G2 still, they dash the chances at a second round on the board for Misfits. Oh, the tragedy, James.
I love a bit of tragedy.
The tragedy.
I would say you hate to see it, but tragedy is great, man.
It's true, it's part of it's theatre.
Yeah.
We've come to the theatre.
It'll harden you in the long term. But in the short term, you will be mentally crushed. And maybe physically as well, as Misfits just were. There was a glimmer of hope, and people got kicked in the face, man. Apex has an auto sniper. I repeat, Apex has an auto sniper. Ooh. See if it comes into play. He's around the connector, rotating back and forth. No early grenades towards B, so he's going towards A. And that might just be enough to read what G2 want to do. Sorry, what Misfits want to do. Kenny misses a second shot. But Apex has a nasty surprise.
Oh dear. You don't expect that one.
Bang, bang, the police are coming.
So 3 versus 4, still not a horrible situation for Misfits, but they need to win some map position. And they try to go to drop here, but it's not going to work out all too well. They will get it eventually, but a 1-for-1. They're going to be able to play off of this. Sick and Sean Gares, 2 men left in the clutch situation, looking to try to push onto the bomb site. shox. Does he anticipate the player there? Perfect position, shox! Oh, it's ruthless efficiency to end the half. I almost felt like the map was over, but that's just the first half, but it's almost over. They're 2 rounds away from victory.
shox is 20 for 4.
Brilliant stuff. And also 20 for 7 for... Wait, who is it? It's disappeared. Kenny, of course.
But forget the rest. shox is 20 for 4.
It's a good ratio.
That is good.
Honestly, like, one of the things I miss the most about Counter-Strike, you know, when G2's not in the tournament, they've been disqualified, it's just seeing the French players hit their zone, but most specifically shox. Because again, also, you know, as stated in the interview, you know, they're trying to re-enable shox. They realize, hey, shox has been doing all the calling here. We want to put him in a position where he can do more, because he is. I mean, they're a team full of superstars, but he's the guy, James. He's the guy.
He's the man. He's a superhero. He's man of the hour. 14-1.
If you lose a pistol, they're a match point. That sucks.
The score is currently at horse racing odds at Braintree. AmaNEk is alone towards the A side. shox and bodyy will entertain soon enough. Jumping off the APC, getting him some information. Will he pull rotation though? Yes. Sick is on his way. Dev's on his way. Sick has stopped. Sean Gares is on his way. He's pulling 3 players now. body's on the A side, but he's alone. And they're taking the bait. They're eating it, and it tastes disgusting. Or it will soon, because the push is coming in towards B.
They only saw 1 player. There's such a heavy over-rotation. It's unbelievable. And all of a sudden, we're going to see G2, as you say, marching into the same site. It's only Apex to draw blood here of the CT side. And actually, Misfits will, as they barrel in together, take down the remainder of G2, which is a very good result. So they've got 2 rounds now, and they've got the good start to their economy.
That's a perfect example, people at home, as to why you never, ever, under any circumstances, say it's A or it's B. Never.
You say, there is
That's
one.
what happens.
You say what you see.
I don't know if he said that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there's some spots where you can be very short and then you can make the gamble, but as you say, James, this is a distinction you must make in communication. Glocks now. Glock train up into A. Let's see how much he can do. Probably not too much. devoduvek, some grenades, and they should be fine.
If they don't... Oh, okay. Ooh. Okay. Man, worms in the blender. Worms are in the blender.
That's very cruel, James.
Nothing else to add.
Hope that's not from personal experience that you're drawing that.
I don't have a blender. 14-3. So, let's see. There's one more round in this for Misfits at the very least. And then we shall see what we shall see. But yeah, to go back to never say it's A or it's B, there were 2 people pushing A, so you say there are 2 people A.
But no bomb.
You don't want to mislead your teammates. Because that... You can't... That's not how you play, man.
Also, they're doing a little bit of a chat here, so that's cool. In an eco round.
Oh, he's in the box, Dan. He's in the box like Glastonbury. The poor to lose.
It's actually quite funny as well because you do get people on teams, some who are like really quiet, and so maybe there is like a full rush, but they don't really talk very much, and then some people with crazy sense of urgency that are screaming and go, "Oh my God, there's A."
FYI, when people are in the toilets, it goes red. It's green for vacant, but if you close it, it goes red for engaged, which is why you don't see people hide in there, because you do get exposed.
I wonder if anyone actually checks whether it's occupied or vacant, the colors.
Only I'd. Well, I don't think in professional matches. If anything, people that stand on top, because it gives you a half a second where people aren't aiming at your head. So we've got some existence level discussion going on.
It's quite funny because on this map as well, it's actually kind of unlikely the CTs are ever going to push this far, ever. And because I think Misfits will completely understand this. They know it's a full state situation. And it's cool to see that because G2 are a team that they could very well have half-bought in this situation, and many would, it's kind of fine to do that. But G2 are a team that have been criticized for their buying massively, and they're in that position where they've got 14 rounds. You don't need to pressure your opponent's economy. You just need to maximize your buys so that you give yourself the most possible best chances to win those 2 rounds with the remaining rounds that are to play with. No point. There's no point. There is actually no point for a half buy, except for fun. But this is not fun, James. This is about winning, but also winning is fun most of the time.
Unless your teammates say it's A or it's B, then it's not fun. Then you're raging, regardless of if you win or lose. Buy time for G2. Notable for Misfits, they have 2 AWPs. AmaNEk with the second one. He's over towards long A. G2 with a traditional start to their T buy rounds, as opposed to Misfits' rush B, rush A, rush A. ShahZaM and Sick getting curious. Ooh, AmaNEk, he doesn't have rifle support really. Not close to trade, etc. But he will manage to back off. He will be forced away by G2. 1 minute 20, and they're trying to deny the CTs as much information as possible. But there is a smoke down, and the CTs will deploy grenades through it. In the meantime, ShahZaM delivers a kill around the plateau. Yeah,
big kill, actually, winning that position. Of course, one of the things here for G2 was to pressure that and maybe get a kill, maybe force ShahZaM back, and then in doing so, eliminate a lot of information. And that would obscure things massively for Misfits, but in getting that kill and keeping control, they have, despite losing a member, they have good tabs on what's going on, I think. They should be anticipating the A play now. They should be trying to cheat an additional player away from B. They've got plateau, give up drop zone. You know that there's players around A, and caught out position is seang. Now it's down to AmaNEk, and he's going to get traded straight away by Kenny. This is looking very grim for Misfits.
ShahZaM was deep in connector or around it, with the drop zone with the AWP, but he has a great angle for the bomb crossing to the site. 25 seconds. Can Sick advance his position as one of these 2 players plants the bomb? Kenny with the sniper rifle and the bomb, getting the bomb down. He's got shox to worry about, but he knows one player is immediately on the site. The barrel gives the position away. Now, where is shox? He has absolutely no idea. shox is miles away. He was in the underpass position, and he's holding the defuse, the hero defuse. The grenade won't come fast enough, won't do enough damage either. And Sick will win the round. Desperation defuse. shox expecting the flank, didn't come. And there is the round for Misfits.
It's kind of okay for G2 from the perspective that Misfits don't have the best bank in the world. and they need to fill up on as much utility and so on as they can. They can just barely afford to do that, and so in eliminating every player, in getting the bomb down, in having 5k on all their own players and saving the AWP and so on, there's the buys. They're just going to keep on coming from G2. They will just keep on coming. So Misfits, there will never be a time where they are safe. There will never be a time when they can feel comfortable, ever, in the rest of this game.
One T round has been won in this game so far. FYI, and that was in the first half. Just one. NBK. Distracted. And punished by Dev. But the bomb's been retrieved by shox. 3-on-3. Sick going for the flank, so ShahZaM and AmaNEk need to distract for as long as possible. They need to buy time, but body's already on the site. They have to really be careful about their position. shox making a gauntlet run now, and Sick's getting pretty close. If he runs though, Kenyes might hear him, but he's walking up the ramp. Kenyes is to a deep right. See how it continues. shox taken out by the AWP of ShahZaM. Kenny looking for some players. The balcony's been smoked off. Misfits may have to take another approach. They've got the man advantage. Sick may end up flanking Kenny if he goes wide, but he's focusing on the site, so maybe it'll be Kea ends up flanking bodyy, doing what he does with 2 headshots, looking for the 3rd, and it works out for G2. Match point for the French.
Nice little quad kill from bodyy. Beautiful stuff there. Love the just a very patient bursting at the end. 15-5. It's almost all over for Misfits. Defeat is very, very close unless they can do something very remarkable here, but they've not really shown us a sign that they necessarily can against the current form that we're seeing from G2, because shox is playing great. I mean, honestly, we're seeing a pretty great performance from everybody on G2. So
yeah, but shox, man.
But shox
is 23 for 8 now. shox is up there. He's in there. He's all over this. He is like white on rice, Dad. This is brown rice, and he's like brown on rice.
What Misfits going to do in this round? They do have 2 smokes, flashbangs. But that's the problem with this map for the CT side. It's kind of hard to make plays, to make aggressions. You have to just try to set up good crossfires and play around those basic positions and hope for the best. If the T side comes at you with a good, well-routined anti-force buy with all the utility usage, you're pretty okay. But Kenny's the second guy to peek with the AWP for the trade. That is not ideal. And devoduvek gets himself 2. Perhaps the gun can be collected if he walks close enough and presses the use button. And there is the Molotov to stop that. Apex wrapping around the back in the meantime, but in comes the flank. Apex realizes that NBK can cover and smoke off. A lot of jobs to be done here, but G2 could stabilize.
It's really smart that G2 focused on clearing the upper area before retrieving the bomb. But now things are getting weird because Dev is in a flanking position. NBK caught on the side. The grenade's sailing in. And NBK flies away, caught in the wind. 2-on-2. 29 seconds left. The smoke disappears. ShahZaM is the last man standing now. It's just him and his deagle between these 2 players. And a match. Trying to pick together. He resets a position. The reload may give his position away if it was heard. More grenades being deployed, forces his way through the smoke, but Apex will force a bullet into the face. 16-5, G2 crush Misfits on Cobblestone.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who predicted Misfits, I wasn't the only one. I was anticipating, hey, you know, we can get that really strong T side from Sean Gez. That approach could be what really creates an opportunity, an opening against the likes of G2. But G2, they were calm, they played their basics really well. Everybody was performing, especially shox. And so 16-5, that's the result. And that is why G2 are very, very scary. When they are actually having a good game, there's very few teams in the world that can really match up against them in any fashion at all. So great to see that performance from G2. And now I'm just really excited for the draw of tomorrow, James.
Yeah, that is going to be coming up after the break. But maybe it's a new page which has been turned for G2. With shox being activated, given more freedom. And again, after the break, round 3 matchup draw. We will see you back here in a few minutes.
Young enough not to know what to believe in. Young enough not to know what to believe in.